Welcome back to the channel. Today I rented a side-by-side by Polaris. This is going to be the RZR XP1000. It's a 4-seater, and guys, if you are looking to buy a side-by-side, these things are like $30,000 starting price, and if you add on accessories, you can get crazy online. Like, you can probably add $10,000 worth of accessories in these things too. So not only do they start around 30 grand, but they can also get up to like $50,000 if you get like a turbocharged, crazy suspension setup. But on that note, I wanted to just kind of go around this thing because my channel does talk a lot about trucks and RVs, and if you are looking for a toy hauler, you might be looking for one of these too. So I figured this would be a good segment for the channel. So let's go ahead and jump into this particular one. Today is my first time ever driving one of these, and if you ever ask me a question, would I ever want more power? I've owned an Audi R8, a Dodge Charger Hellcat, and the answer is absolutely not. I don't know why you'd want any more horsepower in something like this. I got this thing up to 60 miles an hour on a back road on a trail. So I don't know how much more speed you need on the trail, but for me, I feel as though this is more than enough power. Now, let me add to that. I have not taken my family out in this thing yet, so I will have to give my impressions in a later video of what happens when you add 4 people. If you add 4 adults, you probably are going to want the more power if you do want to go a little bit faster, because I'm sure this might feel a little sluggish if you do plan on adding more people, luggage, things like that. But on that note, let's talk about some of the specs on how heavy this thing is, because that might be important to you also if you're looking at putting this in an RV or something like that. This is the entry-level Polaris RZR, so this is going to be the lightest. Now the gross vehicle weight rating of this thing is going to be 2,640 pounds, and the dry weight is actually 1,659 pounds. So when you think about your capacity, you have about 900 pounds of additional weight that you can add to this thing. Now out back, you do have a storage compartment, and you can actually put 300 pounds in this area. So if you are looking for the best performance, if you are planning on bringing 4 people with you, like if you have 2 older kids that weigh over 100 pounds, you and your wife, I mean, you probably would want more power, and this may not be enough for you. So my kids are young and my wife's not that heavy either, so I'm the heaviest of the bunch. I will still give you my impressions, like I said in a later video, to see if you would need more power, because maybe that's the only reason why I would want it, is if my kids are older and I just want to go a little bit faster up the dunes. And on that note, let's talk about the power. So this does have a 4-stroke twin-cylinder engine, and it's going to be good for 110 horsepower. It has a PVT for the transmission. I think that's passively variable transmission, and it basically has a high and low. So if you're rock climbing, obviously you do it in low, and high, that's for if you want to go fast down a dirt, sandy road, whatever. And on top of that, the handling with this power is really good. This does have a Walker Evans racing suspension. I mean, look at the travel on that suspension. I mean, it just, you can really get some articulation on this thing. I mean, I haven't jumped this, and I don't think I'm going to, because I don't want to break it, obviously. But I'm sure that it does handle well even on jumps. Now, as far as the rear suspension goes, this is an independent trailing arms, as you can see. And the front is going to be a double A arm, and it's going to be with 16 inches of travel. And I did notice too, you can adjust the suspension up top here, hard and soft, and it's about 16 clicks. And you can do the same for the rear. Now, because this is a rental car, you guys can see this is pretty basic. They did, however, give it the roof. Now the roof is optional, and you can go with some pretty cool ones. I think they have like an aluminum one I saw online. This looks to be the plastic, cheap plastic. And then this one does have upgraded doors too, because I think this panel here is an upgrade. It does have just regular cloth seats. Actually, these aren't even cloth. I don't know what this material is, but it's easy just to wash this out. And this is jump inside here. The steering wheel is adjustable. You do have your lighting controls, and this is how you would lock in the full drive. You can do it while rolling too. Let's see if we can turn in the accessory mode. This actually has some really good information on here too. Shows you the engine temperature, shows you what gear you're in, shows you the time, all that good stuff. Shows you the volts from the battery and the miles. Give your fuel gauge there, which is really, really helpful. Love the tachometers too. They have that racing look to them, and that's pretty much all the information I saw that was helpful in here. And they do have a grab handle here for the passenger, and cup holders. This is your gear shifter here. It's pretty basic. You have your standard seat belts as you would have. A little bit of storage up front too, but as you can see, does not have any rubber sealing around it, so it will get wet in here. I'm sure you can upgrade this. Everything's upgradable. Now let's take a look at the headlights. These headlights are really cool. And it does have a daytime running light too in the front here. Looks really, really nice. You have an accent right up here, and from what I can see, they put out a lot of light. I haven't been able to drive this at night, but it does have projector style, so it should have a nice cutoff on the road for you. And then here are the rear tail lights. Again, really nice design. And this is how you open the back door too. Now let me see if I can get back here, because my seat is all the way back. I'm 6'1". Oh wow, this is tight. I wouldn't want to ride back here. I mean, I could put my seat up front a little bit more, but I wouldn't want to. But you do have cup holders back here and some storage. Actually, that's not storage. That's just a access point probably for the engine bay. Actually, yeah, that's an access point for the oil filter. And you do have a ton of headroom back here, so you don't have to worry about that if you're tall. But they have a grab handle here, probably be good for my kids. But overall, I mean, this is pretty cool. The seats are pretty comfortable. They're like sport seats, and yeah, for the most part, this is very basic. I would want a windshield because the dust just hits you at all angles. I would want a windshield, and I probably would almost want the, you know, maybe some protection too here. That way we don't have to have so much dust coming inside. Now, really quickly, before I end the video, I think it'd be noteworthy to talk about the capacities for the fuel and the length, width, and height of this thing, because my channel is typically about fifth wheels, which you can see right there. I have one there, trucks, and if someone's looking at a toy hauler, kind of like that little guy over there, that's a toy hauler, this might be important information for you. So the capacity, if you want to get a fuel capacity idea, this has a 9.5 gallon fuel tank. It does take 2.5 quarts of oil, so just keep that in mind. Now, as far as the length goes, I would think that you would need a 13-foot garage just to give yourself some space. And just depending on the setup of the garage, sometimes they have bathrooms in there. And I do know some fifth wheels, toy haulers I'm talking about, do have bathrooms that do break down, so you get more floor space. Now, as far as the width goes, this is about 5.3 inches in width, so you should have no problems getting this inside the garage in that regard. But it is 6.2 inches in height, so you got to be careful with that Happy Jack system. Make sure it can go up pretty far, that way you can get this bad boy in there. But on that note, thanks for watching this video. I hope it was helpful. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video.